I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're delving into a thrilling science fiction universe with Don Holman, author of Heartstar. What begins as a routine mission to Heart, the destination world, quickly turns into a life or death struggle as the crew faces an unexpected hostile force. With mystery, danger, and fascinating explorations of new worlds, Heartstar offers a captivating read for all sci-fi enthusiasts and beyond. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Sweet Spire Literature Management for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. Don, great to see you here today on Spotlight.
Great to be here.
This is part of a very thrilling series. Where does this book fall into the realm of your storytelling? Is this book three?
This is be the third book published. If the timeline gets a little complicated because if you have millions of people leaving Earth, you can't follow all of them. So this is just my books cover a fraction. I have one that is still at draft form, is the first colony that is established. And of course, it's under the table, not quite kosher the way it's done, but it goes out, and that one is called
A Ghost Planet?
Disruption.
Okay,
Disruption. That one,
gotcha.
that one is will be out, I hopefully next year. But I have the first one is that was published is Mutiny on the Omaha.
Hmm.
Uh, it is when there's a people leave Earth, and there's different waves, if you will, of colonization of the stars after a practical faster than light drive is developed. Then so they go out and they start settling the nearby stars. Then there's additional waves, and some of them go to the established colonies, others go to colonies further away. And this continues as a trend. As the drive improves, it's easier to go farther. So the Mutiny on the Omaha tells the story of when the colonies that are further away start hostilities toward the colonies that are closer to the Earth. And there's a war. And the war lasts mainly because of long travel times. The war lasts for almost 3 decades. Then, 5 years after the war ends, there's a ghost planet. A ghost planet is an unregistered planet, not registered with the Federation to avoid taxes. Why not?
Tax haven planet. We love
If
them
you're
all.
if you're totally powerful and own multiple worlds, I mean, you can sort of do whatever you want and get away with
Yeah,
it for at least a while.
exactly.
And during the war, of course, that sort of thing was winked at because they were getting resources from these planets and they needed resources to build new ships, etc. Okay, after the war ends, then Ghost Planet occurs. And then the story in Ghost Planet, there's a robot killer ship is sent out and comes to this planet, destroys the main capital and a lot of the infrastructure, and then hides. There's a time limit on its program. And after the time limit, it hides, and the crew goes up. Uh, the main character in that's where the next 3 or 4 books goes up, repairs the ship, and then finally leaves the planet. A lot more happens, of course, in that series, in that timeline. Then when they leave, they pick a planet that they think will be nice, quiet, innocent place that they can earn some money and finish repairs before they have to go to the judicial planet to actually get ownership of the ship. Mm. So they go to Heartstar. It's just, one of hundreds, thousands of colony worlds, frontier worlds, fairly new, small population. And but when they arrive, the AI that runs the ship tells them, "Oh, we're under attack," and they've got 6 ships trying to intercept them. Uh, and since they don't communicate, the only conclusion is that they are very hostile.
Mm.
So the ship being built, or at least mostly built as a warship, it wakes them up and they take evasive action to make themselves less of a target and proceed in. So there's then a battle, and then they get to the planet. Once they get to the planet, I mean, these people have been under quarantine, under I
A
can't even remember the
lockdown
word.
situation.
Well, blockade,
Yeah.
so that they couldn't get any new seed and so on uh, to grow crops. And as it turns out, the company that developed this planet didn't quite tell the people that bought it the whole truth
Mm.
because the because of the ecology of the planet. And a lot of my stories, turn on and are a result of fairly minor things that appear minor but have major effects.
Right.
The plants, when you plant them after several generations, they're starting to uptake heavy metals.
Mm.
So when you eat the grain or the fruit after multiple generations or multiple years, you start getting poisoned with
Mm.
heavy metals, lead, mercury, nickel, cadmium, all really nasty things when they get into your system. And so they've got a real problem going on this planet, and the whole population is at risk.
Yeah.
50 plus million people. So here's this innocent ship that has just arrived to do some trading, and they have a they have a huge database, and they were hoping to sell information to raise money. And now all of a sudden they are the go-to people for new information.
Mm.
The AIs on the ship are brilliant, the
Mm.
best in the galaxy, if you will. And the so the but they will only respond unlike what chat GPT
Yeah.
is, they'll only respond if you ask them the question.
Right.
They will tell you, but they won't do anything on their own unless you instruct them to. So it's a little different version of AI. It's what I think is more the ideal, what should be built into AI. Uh, so it's I mean, I started these books long before Chat GPT
Right.
even was thought of, as far as I know. But
Right.
apparently, I was way ahead of my time. And
Exactly.
the stories they turn on uh, things on in the ecology, in the economy, various situations
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Oh, the AI element's definitely a very today twist. It's amazing you
Yeah.
thought of this long ago before, like you said, the advent of ChatGPT, because it makes it very, very relevant as well. Much of your book describes how new companies are formed or created to make things that on Earth are considered basic industries. Why are these companies so important to the story?
Well, most people have never lived through a war on alive today. Uh, I've read enough, and I've like my had an uncle that lost a leg in World War One, and I've had other relatives that fought in World War Two, and a lot of the basic stuff to fight a war is kind of ordinary stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what we use every day, but this is a frontier planet. They don't have the major industries. They have, you know, they're kind of in their infancy. So anything that moves pretty much needs bearings, ball
Mm.
bearings or slip bearings. So anything that rotates needs a bearing. And they don't really have the technology. So the AI masters develop companies uh, through the crew, of course, but they develop companies that produce basic things, uh, better bearings, better abrasives.
Mhm.
Abrasives, and until you've been in the industry, abrasives and cutting tools, cutting heads that shape metal
Mm.
are really, really key to most things that are built.
Yeah.
If you build a internal combustion engine, you have to bore the holes
Mm.
to precise size. You have to have them nice and smooth. All these things that are basic in our world are things that on a frontier planet are, you know, unless you've already imported the technology, they're vital to developing a wartime a basis for in industry.
Yeah. Without a
So
doubt.
it's just a lot of the things are more the ordinary, but most people really don't understand why and how they're pertinent. And so it's going in and just kind of looking at the day-to-day stuff that we have all around us and kind of pointing up the importance of it. Communications are vital, but communications involve uh, fiber optic cables.
Mhm.
And that means special glass, and that means special tools because any little imperfection on the surface and it doesn't transmit the signal properly. So all these kinds of things, and the enemy, the company that what it is the company, the planet turned out to be much better source of precious metals and things that are very valuable than the company's initial assessment uh, showed.
Mm.
And now they want to redo the agreement and up the price by 10 or 20 times.
Mm.
And of course, the people that live there, they don't take kindly to that sort of thing. And so the war, and hence the blockade. And now they're proving so stubborn that the company that's doing the blockading is getting to the point that hey, this isn't working. So it's a real tense situation. And they're sending spies in to, oh, they're developing new ways to produce food that is better. Oh, well, we have to get rid of them. So they send in agents to kill them and disrupt things and disrupt transportation. So it's a it's got elements of spy movies, mystery, uh, all kinds of different elements that in a society tend to work together and fight each other, if you will, to
Absolutely.
to make things happen.
And all those different elements, I think, broaden the appeal of the series to beyond just sci-fi fans, but those who love great storytelling, mystery, adventures, and so on. Wonderful.
I
Before
hope
we
so.
leave you to what's that?
I hope so.
I think so
Hopefully,
for sure. Before we
hopefully my
leave you today,
stories.
have you envisioned this as a series of films? I mean, I think we need to move
I
beyond.
I think all my books could be turned in because of the new vistas, the new characters, the situations that are so different than on Earth, could be turned into really fun movies, all of them. Some perhaps more than others. Uh, it's I have such a wide variety of books. Every book I've written is very different than the one before.
Yeah.
I mean, in a couple of ones later, they go back to the ghost planet and they have to recreate government and turn it from basically a slave type society, very top down, to a bottom up democratic society. And so And the challenge, that was tough to write,
Mm,
I'll tell you.
yeah. I'm
Uh,
sure. Well, you're great at world creating. You've created worlds and universes within the pages of your books. The book we've been focusing on primarily today, it's part of a series. This book is called Heartstar.
right.
It begins,
And
well,
it's the part of the series, Immigrants from Earth, people that left Earth and what happens to them.
exactly. Emigrants from Earth, wonderful series. Heartstar is a wonderful book. It begins as a routine mission to Heart, which is their destination world, but it quickly turns into a life or death struggle as the crew faces an unexpected hostile force. This book is filled with mystery, danger, and fascinating explorations of new worlds. Don, thank you so much for joining me here today on Spotlight.
Been fun. Thank you.
Always great talking to you, my friend. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time until next time on Spotlight.